How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the Hall of Film YouTube channel. Now today, as you can see, I am reviewing Danny Boyle and Alex Garland's latest film and addition to the 28 Days Later franchise. Of course, I'm talking about 28 Years Later. Now, this came out yesterday. I went to see it. I also uploaded a long written out review over on Voice magazine, who I am now a reviewer on. I will link that piece in the description below. So this was a interesting one. Of course, Danny Boyle, Alex Garland produced 28 Days Later, which instantly iconic, one of the best British films, one of the best zombie films, changed the game, and all of that good stuff. 28 weeks later, of course, neither man were a contributor to, but I did enjoy 28 weeks later. I know it's not a popular opinion, but I did find it pretty damn good. So, going into this, very excited, very excited. Of course, them two working together, you know what they produce, you're like, how can this be bad? I'm not saying it's the worst film, but I'm certainly not saying it's particularly good. It is middle of the road fine, which is a hugely disappointing thing to be saying, but of course if you've seen the trailer, Ray Fiennes, like, for example, is in it of a lot, so is Aaron Taylor-Johnson. Aaron Taylor-Johnson is not the main character. He's in it for the first hour or so. Then they kind of just forget about him. Ray Fiennes isn't in it until the final, 30 minutes maybe? He's great because it's Ray Fiennes. He's always good. Jodie Comer and young Alfie Williams. Alfie Williams is 14 years old and carried the hell out of this movie. He was the main character, which was a shock for me. He was incredible. Jodie Comer, of course, we all expect her to be top tier, and she is. She's great. The acting, as you can tell, that's probably the main thing that I was like, okay, they've nailed it. Where my problems lie with 28 Years Later is kind of everywhere else that you'd expect Boyle and Garland to be on their top game. The writing itself, it felt so true to 28 Days Later within the first act of the movie. It was like, oh, okay, they're nailing this, they're hitting it out of the park. Then it goes from zombie drama film, which you expect with the franchise. So I was like, okay, good. Then it goes from that to a coming of age family drama story, essentially. And there just so happens to be zombies in it. But The Infected as well, they have improved them, but there's also a glaring issue. If you cast your minds back to 28 weeks later, they categorically said they will starve. And then at the end of the film, spoilers if you haven't seen it, they storm Paris. You see them running the Eiffel Tower in the background, and you're like, oh, okay, it's spreading. They've retconned 28 weeks later. They make it clear from the intro. It's still in England only, and that is like a quarantined extraction zone. No one's allowed in, no one's allowed out. It's just housed still in the UK. Now you might be thinking, oh, they said they starve. It's 28 years later, they haven't starved. They now eat deers and stuff, even though that wasn't the thing said that they did in 28 weeks later. So that's just kind of wiped from existence. So forget about that film coming into this. Going back to like the coming of age drama, I was like, okay, this is an interesting choice. It felt like two movies. They had scripts for two films. They couldn't make their mind up on which one they went for, and they just went, we'll sandwich them together. So it feels quite disjointed and out of place, and the tonal shift's ridiculous. Now, the other thing, again, you'd expect from Boyle especially. Of course, he's always taken interesting editing choices, but they always usually work and you see the vision. The big problem with this is the editing is alongside the writing just so out of place and bad. I hate to say it. It's it's bad. The editing is. Um, like there's some cool and interesting cuts to like a red night vision kind of thing of the infected eating a deer, and you're like, this is unsettling. This is like perfect. Then they have weird like medieval bow and arrow training clips spliced in for the story, even though it adds nothing. Then the interesting thing where I was like, genuinely, I was watching the film. I thought my cinema was glitching out and the projector was messed up. The first couple kills that Alfie's character Spike has, like the arrow goes in the head or goes in the neck. So you see it go in, it then pauses, the camera changes to the there, and then you see them fall back and get killed. I thought the cinema was glitching out. It was so out of place and ridiculous. It was like before they did those shots, Danny Bull had watched The Matrix and the bullet time camera angles and how like it goes slow mo and then changes angles. It's like he watched The Matrix and went, "I'll do that." The only problem is we're 26 years removed from The Matrix and bullet time, so I don't know why the hell that was thought of a good idea. Um, I'm still confused by that. Of course, as well, like one thing that's just hilarious is there is a lot of seeing zombie penis because they're all naked and they are all flopping around. Um, it's again, it's just like okay, that's a thing. But yeah, besides the story and um, the interesting writing and editing choices, it leaves a lot to be desired. I'm just still kind of baffled how they um, really made this much of a mistake because the first act is perfectly in the tonal of what you'd expect with the movie and everything, and then they self-destruct their own movie with no reasons. Of course, the other big thing made of this was the film was shot on iPhones. Well, some of the bits of the films, and you can tell because it's like it has an Instagram filter on at the screen, and it just looks really weird. And again, the editing choices in this film are baffling. The big thing for me as well was I was excited for Jack O'Connell, of course, fresh off Sinners, which he's incredible in. I was like, oh, he's going to be great in this world. I won't spoil it in case, well, for people who haven't seen the movie yet, but that last 10 minutes of the film, if you thought the film was leading in a bad direction before that, that last 10 minutes kills it. The only way I can explain is when you get to that final scene, think of the Power Rangers and you'll understand what I mean. Good God, it was comedic. I genuinely laughed out loud, and a couple others did in my cinema. And it's like that's not what they were going for, but that's the reaction they've got. They made it comedic, and of course it's Hollywood now, so you don't have to end a film with an actual ending. Why? We're getting more films, so we'll just leave it as the oh, don't forget, rewatch it when the new one's coming out. I don't care. End the film like it's an actual film. But yeah, um, not particularly high on 28 years later, unfortunately, as much as I wanted to be. If you've watched it, please let me know in the comments what you thought. I hope you found something in it and hope you enjoyed it more than I did. But yeah, let me know. And of course, The link to my voice magazine review is also in the description. Make sure you like, comment, share and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.